Take a look in a book, take a look in a book. What you're gonna find will open up your mind, from Shakespeare's lines to Mother Goose rhymes. When you learn to read, you set yourself free. Just open up a book. Take a look, take a look, yeah!
Hi, welcome to First Steps. I'm Ellen Phillips, Head of Children and Teen Services at the Enfield Public Library. First Steps is a 6-part series that helps to inform residents about early education in the town of Enfield. The segments include story times, book talks by Enfield students, and lots of information on how you can help your children to succeed before school begins. In our Raising a Reader segment, we will give you many practical tips for helping to encourage early literacy skills in your child. Today, our early education consultant, Lisa Jordan, discusses alphabet knowledge and some easy ways that you can help your children recognize the names and sounds of letters. Our Countdown to Kindergarten segment features Jennifer Lampro from Head Start, who gives some tips on what parents should look for in a quality preschool program. So stay tuned for this episode of First Steps.
Hello, my name is Lisa Jordan. I am the kindergarten teacher at the grammar school at Summersville. I wanted to talk with you today about alphabet knowledge. Big component of your child becoming a literate person, becoming a reader. And I wanted to share with you just some fun and simple ideas. Again, always wanting to make sure that we are keeping our activities fun. We don't want it to be a stressful situation. We want the children to be just getting a lot of great experience from what we're doing. So when you hear the word phonics, and if your school is talking about phonics, or if your child's in a preschool, you've heard phonics. Phonics is really just simply matching a sound to print. So it's matching k to this. That's all it is. It's very simple to understand what phonics means. So when we're talking, if your child goes into kindergarten and the teacher begins to talk about phonics, and we use phonics-based readers and things like that, all they are simply meaning is that phonics is just matching a sound to a letter. So when your child is trying to assimilate and understand what that means, that's really just a little sort of background of what we're doing. When we're looking at sound and symbol association, we're recognizing letters and the sounds they represent. So I have had parents, and sort of the first time we had a parent conference, or we have report cards due, they are, a little taken aback when I'm talking about, they're still working on their sound symbol. So the sound is N, the symbol is this. Sound symbol association. Because they will say to me, but they can sing the ABC song. And I say, well, that's great. I'm happy. I'm so glad that they can sing the ABC song. This is what we're working on now. So I think learning the ABC song is great. It certainly has a part in everything that we're doing. But when we're really starting to get into becoming ready to read, we are looking at some of the skills that children need as they are going to become readers. We're growing readers. We want to start really helping them focus on the sound that each of these letters, or the symbol, makes. And I'm going to share with you some ideas how to do that. A great activity to do with kids is just simply matching upper and lowercase letters. So, these are from a teacher catalog, but you can find letters anywhere. You can write them yourself on a piece of paper. You can print them on a computer. A great font, if you choose to use a computer, a really good font to use is called Chalkboard. It's a pretty standard font. And again, in a chalkboard font, they are going to have an A is written, like a child would normally see it, or in their name. It's not one of those kind of odd-looking texts. So Chalkboard is a great one to use. So you can just type the alphabet in lowercase, type it in capital, do it on a pretty big size. I'd say do it on a 48, or and then cut them up. and then you ask your children to match them. So I just got a sampling of, a capital B and a lowercase b and a capital S and a lowercase s. So they just simply have to match capital and lowercase. And then as you're looking at them, you always, again, want to validate what they're doing. And this is where I would say something like, you found both B letters. Can you think of something that starts with the sound of B? And I see you found the capital and lowercase S. See if you can go find something in the kitchen that starts with S, and send them off on a mission to go do that. So really, as you look through this, they've matched the upper and lowercase. You're reading them back to them as the sound that those letters make. So they're getting that association. A really fun thing to do is to find objects in the grocery store or a magazine that begin with a certain letter. So you might say, on a Saturday, we're going to go look for, I want you to go find 5 things that start with the sound of As we're shopping, I want you to see if you can find 5 things, and whether or not you buy them or not, but they, are going to find milk. Oh, we needed that. That was on our list. And they found marshmallows. And okay, I guess we can get those. We'll make some Rice Krispie treats. And sort of send them on a quest as it's really keeping them engaged. It's keeping their mind active and excited, but looking for things in a grocery store that begin with a particular letter, and also looking in magazines. This is a great sort of evening activity. This can be something while you're preparing dinner. You can have them set up with a slew of old magazines and a big piece of paper and a glue stick. Have them, either with scissors, or if you're not comfortable with them with scissors, they can just tear out the pictures. Why don't we make a collage of all things that start with the sound of D? And they have to look through, and they're going to have a dog and a duck and a donkey, and look through magazines and sort of create collages of things that begin with a letter sound. So they're sort of understanding that alphabet. Reading is all around us. So doing reading in the environment is another important activity. Children to realize, of course, we'd said in the grocery store, but when we're looking around us, street signs, the police station, signs for restaurants, all those kinds of things. And if they're really getting quite good at that and comfortable and enjoying it, I even take it a step further and start talking about, find a lowercase letter, which is actually harder than you think. If you haven't noticed, the next time you go out, it's going to suddenly astound you how so much is written in capital letters. I spoke to someone about that, and they think it's a marketing thing. It just pops out to us more if it's capitalized. So if your child has really become adept at, they know that STOP says stop, and they know that says it's the gas, it's Sunoco gas station. Challenge them further and say, see if you can find a lowercase b today on our ride home. And that will really be drawing their attention to how print is all around them and how important it is. Again, we're growing readers. We want children to understand that the literacy is really at the heart of everything that they're going to do in the future, and that's a wonderful way to sort of challenge them even a little bit farther. ABC books are a wonderful resource for children. We use these a lot in our writing, actually, in kindergarten. So when they're looking for like a picture dictionary, those kinds of things, that all starts by being comfortable using ABC books. And ABC books are often fun, and this is a rhyming one. Another great alphabet and grocery store activity is eating the alphabet. This is a really fun, gives you great ideas. So you might decide, every Saturday night or whenever you do your grocery shopping, or every Monday night, we're going to display a certain letter of the alphabet. And children often like to start with the first letter in their own name. So your child's name is Paul, then we're going to have a P dinner tonight. So as we look around the store, let's see what we can find. Okay, let's have peanut butter on crackers. Maybe we'll have pork chops. Would you like to have a pumpkin pie? Pickles? You can, and it's okay. it's, if they eat not a totally balanced meal one night and now and then, I'm sure that they'll be fine. Or if you say, we're just going to choose a few items. So let's see if we can find 3 things from the K page that we'd like to eat tonight. We can have some carrots, and let's put a cucumber, and perhaps as they look around the store, they can find the 3rd item. So eating with a letter in mind is also a really fun activity that kids will really get right on board with. They'll think that that's a hoot to try to find out a great meal all with the same letter. I like to do a lot of writing of letters in response to sounds. So this is a sand tray, but you can do this with anything. I've also used just coffee, not just the coffee grinds, not used coffee, but just fresh from the can. And you can really dump it in anything. You can dump it on a plate or in a tray. And so I would say to them, what sound do you hear at the beginning of, ball, ball? Let's see if we can do that. And it's B. So they can see. And what's nice about this is that it's really risk-free. This is very different than putting down a big piece of blank paper with a pencil in front of them, because you just shake it and it's clean and we can try again. And I might just say a letter. S. I want to see them make a S, and then we can just shake it clean. So you can certainly do this. This is sand in a tray. I like that it has a different colored bottom. It really makes it very visible to the children. But you certainly could do this, like I said, just with coffee grounds on a white dinner plate would be just as effective for them to learning the alphabet. They can collect pictures that begin with the same as my name. Again, magazines. You can find a lot of magazines in, at charity shops or at tag sales or that kinds of thing. Even I've gone through with the coupons that I get in the newspaper on Sunday, and they can collect and make a collage, make a picture of things that begin with my name. Great activities to do on a rainy day when it's winter and we're all stuck inside. Really interesting and great activities for children to practice in that sort of kind of situation. So we want to also, keep our children entertained as we travel. Very often that is a time, more and more I'm seeing the video console in the back of the car seat and that type of thing. And in many ways that saddens me. I think that the car ride, it's a very sort of intimate time. There's not a lot of intrusions from the outside. I think our lives are busy. We're scheduled. We have a lot of things going on in our lives. We're connected, the phone and the computer and the television and the cell phones, and we're on the go. That's a part of life. But a car ride can be almost like a little cocoon. Although if you're on a long car ride and you have many children, maybe the cocoon is something that you need to supplement. So a great idea for long car rides are these trays. I want to, I like to start with children in a cookie sheet and test your cookie sheet, because oddly my newer cookie sheets were not magnetic, which I thought was unusual. But test before you set out on a trip, and this is your big thing to keep your children happy. Test that it is truly magnetic. But I like to start with younger children with, I call them word families. So it's also rhyming words, but I call them word families. So I'm looking at the at family. And I really like these magnetic letters because the consonants and the vowels are different colors. And an important concept I teach the children in kindergarten is how every word has a vowel. So they're going to start to sort of visually see that. And again, remember, children are a product of the experiences that they have. That is what they're bringing to school, is the experiences that they've had. So getting an idea of, okay, what happens when we know it's at? What happens when I put a s at the beginning? You made the word sat. What happens when I put a at the beginning? You made the word hat. What happens when I put a b at the beginning? You made the word bat. So those are really fun activities that you can take on the road. These are great also if you're waiting in a doctor's office. in any area where you need your child to be engaged and also peaceful, you can sort of set up something like this. These work really well. Just carry them in a little Ziploc baggie, and just tuck this in your purse or under your arm, and people will be, believe me, people will be taking your idea and they'll be modeling it as well. Another activity you can do with your child is to put out a different object. And again, where I am scouring is the charity shops and the tag sales. I mean, I'm out at tag sales all summer long looking for little things for children. They love small things. It's an interest for them. So this is a bat. So I would, of course, explain. I would ask the child, can you tell me what this is? It's a model of. It's a bat. Then I would throw out a handful of letters. So I shake them. I pretend it's a game. It's like dice, and I throw them out. We have to turn them around first so they're looking the right way. And then I'd say, we'd look at the sounds that each of these letters make. So we've got a B, and we've got a K, and we've got a G, and we've got a N. And I say, what sound what sound do you hear at the beginning of bat? And they have to pick out the B. So this can be something that they can come and do. You could leave the same letters and just put a different object down. This is something that I might leave in a basket. It's a sort of a secret sound. We're going to do the secret sound when we get home. A lot of times for children too is the routine, setting up the routine. So when you get home from grocery shopping or right after dinner or whenever the time in the day that you choose, you sort of get that routine started, get a fun routine. We're going to do the secret sound after dinner every night, and go and look in the secret sound box, and every day, you would be charged with getting an object. It can be a picture from a magazine, because this can be time consuming to find objects for every letter of the alphabet. You can certainly choose to cut pictures from a magazine as well.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Lampro. I'm a teacher at the Enfield Head Start program, and today we're going to be talking about what to look for in a quality preschool program. First, listening in a program that you visit, listening for children's voices, and making sure it's mostly children's voices that you hear. A lot of laughter, children talking and play. And you should also hear adult voices as well. But you want to make sure the adult voices are positive and warm and encouraging, and that the relationships between the adults and the children seem comfortable, that the children seem at ease, and that the adults are responding to the children's needs. The environment is also very important. The room should be bright and full of the children's artwork and the children's things that represent the class. There should be enough space to play, and there should be enough things for them to choose from and work with them individually or in groups. There should be centers in the room where a child can move from one activity to another and explore and discover and interact with one or three, or maybe just individually play with an activity. And one of the first things to look for is the children's voices in the program should be the ones you really hear. It should be a place where there's laughter and children's conversation, and there should also be adult conversation with the children. The adult interaction should be encouraging and positive and warm. And you want to really pay close attention to how the children respond to the adults in the room and the way the adults are reacting to the children and their needs. Other requirements to look for are the staff's qualifications. Looking to see if staff members have a CDA, which is a Child Development Associate, or if they have a bachelor's degree or even associate's degree. Taking the time to see the qualifications that they have and knowing a little bit about the people who will be working with your children, and taking time out to ask them questions. it's important that you feel comfortable talking to them, because if you feel comfortable talking to them, chances are your child will too. So you want to ask them things that make you feel better about bringing your child, and as well as asking questions about things that will make your child feel good about being there. You also want to talk to the parents of the program. Many parents will give you insight and also make you think of other things that you hadn't thought of before just from talking with them. They can give you suggestions of how to separation anxiety with your child, or things that helped them when they brought their children to preschool. There should also be a schedule for the children so that they know what's coming next and what to expect. And routine's very important for them at this age especially, because sometimes they don't have the ability to think ahead or to remember sometimes what's going to be happening, and it can become very scary for them. They become nervous, and anxiety just can really fill them and make them want to leave, make them want to go home and miss their family more. And when they're feeling like they know what's going to happen, or when they feel like they understand the routine, they feel safe. And it makes them be able to relax and play with others or do something individually. There should also be a balance of quiet activities and more active play, so that children can learn to limit themselves and learn regulations and understand how they learn, to learn more about themselves. Ask to see the curriculum. Make sure that it's a strong language-based curriculum with literacy and math skills, science exploration, and look to see that these things are being offered through centers, that the children are being exposed to them in different areas of the classroom. Literacy is something that children can do at home with their family as well. Simply reading a book with a family member and then bringing a picture in the next day of the special part of the story helps children to feel good about themselves, brings a little piece of home to school, and they learn so much just from listening to a story. They learn patience, they learn predicting, and they also learn to spend time with somebody, and quality time. And it doesn't have to be a very long time either. Sometimes children learn best just from being with somebody one-on-one, and also they learn through play. The centers where science skills can be learned and science and math skills can be learned are where children can have hands-on exploration and discovery, where they're not always just sitting and listening. They can actually touch and look at things and learn from playing, because that's how children learn best, from doing. Their bodies need to be moving, they need to be looking and feeling, and learning is a culmination of so many things for a little child. Sometimes when adults learn, they learn by listening or sitting, and little children really need to be moving more. When looking for a preschool program, there are many things that you're going to see when you go to a center. You may even have to visit the center a second time in order to take in more the next time. And you really want to feel good about being there. Chances are your child will too. Therefore, when looking for a preschool program, remember your comfort level. Remember the environment, how it looked and how you felt in it. And remember to ask a lot of questions. Thank you for listening today, and I hope you enjoy choosing a preschool program and enjoy that time you have with your child. Thank you.
Hi everybody, it's such a joy to be with you this afternoon at the library. My name is Yvette Santiesteban. It's a long one, isn't it? Santiesteban. So I tell all of my students at the high school, just call me Mrs. Santi, and that's easy enough. Today I want to talk to you about children just like me, because I have been teaching children for many, many years in the island of Jamaica. And I have found that wherever I go, children are all the same. They may look differently, but they are all the same. And I teach the big ones at the high school, but I just love to be around the little ones. And so that's why I'm here with you this afternoon. I have a book, Children Just Like Me, written by Barnabas and Annabelle Kinsterly. And when I saw this book, I said, ooh, this would be perfect, because the authors spent 2 years learning about children all around the world. They traveled all over. They met children and talked with children, and then they put this little book together. So I want to share some of these children with you today. The first little man that I'm going to talk to you about, or share with you, if I can find a page. His name is Gabriel. And here is a picture of Gabriel. Gabriel is 9 years old, and he lives in Alaska, in northwestern North America. Gabriel is a Yupik Eskimo. The Yupiks are the native people of southeastern Alaska and eastern Siberia in Russia. And there are just some other little things about Gabriel that I want to share with you. Gabriel says, I belong to the Yupiks, and I have a Yupik name too, which is Talak. When I grow up, I want to be a policeman, and I'd hunt like my dad. Sometimes he takes me hunting with him. He shoots moose and caribou and birds. Once I shot a duck, but it was too small for me to eat. There's some things that Gabriel likes to do. He likes to go to school. His favorite subject is handwriting. He also likes English, math, and his special language, Yupik. Gabriel speaks his special language and English. In the winter, he loves playing in the snow. He says we make snowmen and snow angels. Sometimes we go sledding with a team of dogs pulling the sled. And that's Gabrielle from Alaska. The next little girl that I want to share with you, her name is Aseye. Aseye. And here's a picture of her. Aseye Renate Ahadze is 7 years old, and she lives in Accra, the big, busy capital city of Ghana, West Africa. Accra is on the coast. That means it's near to the water. And it's very warm all year round. How I wish I were living in Ghana right now. Aseye lives with her mother, her father, 2 sisters in an apartment in the city. Her father, William, works for the government. He also has a Ghanaian name, Kofi. Aseye's mother, Sika, is a teacher at a high school, and she runs a store in the evenings. And there's a little picture of Aseye's mother, father, and her baby sister. Like most people in Ghana, Aseye goes to church, and she goes with her family. She loves to sing and clap her hands. Aseye likes to eat, and her favorite food is called buka. It's made from corn dough and cassava. She eats lots of fried and boiled plantains, fish, rice, and ground nuts. She doesn't like mixed vegetables too much. She says it tickles her throat. And that's Aseye with her sister and her baby brother. The last little girl that I'm going to share with you about, her name is Guo Shang. And Guo Shang lives in China, in Beijing, China. And I was very interested in Guo Shang because last year I visited China. I took a group of students to China and we visited about 3 or 4 cities in China. It was so exciting because the Olympics were going to be held later on and everybody was just so excited to be in China. And so let's hear about Guo Shang. 9-year-old Guo Shang lives with her family just outside Beijing, the capital city of China. Beijing is situated in northeastern China, and the name of the city means capital of the north. It's a large, busy city, and yes, it is huge. I saw people walking through the city all hours of the day and night. Do you think New York City is busy? Go visit Beijing. You will see people, a constant flow of people. Guo Shang's parents both work in a local bank. Chinese people put their family name first and their given name second. Guo is the family name. In China, people usually address each other using both names. So Shuang is called Guo Shuang. My name, if I were living in China, it would be Santiesteban Yvette. And that's how they call themselves in China. Very, very quickly, they love to eat dumplings in China. A lot of dumplings. And that's one of the things I remembered when I visited. We had about 50 different varieties of dumplings. It was amazing. Finally, Guo Shang's favorite class in school is art. And in her art classes, she likes to make masks. And here's a picture of a mask that she painted. And she said, I made this mask at school by myself. I cut it out of paper and I colored it in. Maybe the little ones who are here can make masks at school. You can cut it out of paper and you can color it in and you can put it on and imagine that you are anybody that you want to be. Thank you so much for listening. It was my pleasure being here, and I hope to see most of you again somewhere along the way.
We're off to a great start in this episode of First Steps. Early education is a commitment that should concern all of our residents, not just our teachers. This next segment features a firefighter who is committed to early education in our town. Don Ellis joins Karen West Lisa to tell us about the town's Book Buddies program.
Hi, I'm Karen Westlisa, and I'm the chair of the KITE Committee, which is Key Initiatives to Early Education in Enfield.
And I'm Don Ellis from the Enfield Fire Department.
And we're here to talk today about Book Buddies. Book Buddies is a community program that aims to get books into the hands of every kindergarten student in our town, which is about 400 or 425 kindergartners every year.
What the fire departments do is they contact each individual kindergarten teacher, have them order a book for each student. When the books come in, we pick them up, have volunteer wrappers wrap the books for us, and then we schedule a date to come back and read the books to the children. They unwrap their books, and then some additional books that the teachers might have, we do some reading.
And we need to also recognize the fact that this is a community effort. This isn't just a KITE effort, and it's not just a fire department effort. This is a community effort. We fundraise throughout the community for funds to purchase the books, and the seniors at the senior center help wrap up the books so that when the students get them, it's a present, it's a gift, and they can unwrap it, and they're so happy to receive it. And for the most part, this might be a book that might be the only book that child owns. And we promote literacy, and we promote a love of reading, and it comes all wrapped and packaged, which is the plus to it all. We needed to add too, we also need to add that we fund, that we've had donations from throughout the community to purchase the books. That's a big component, that this has been a community effort. It's not just a kite effort, it's not just a fire department effort. This is a real community effort, and a lot of people have participated to make it successful. And now Donna's going to read one of the books that a kindergartner might receive as part of the Book Buddies program.
The name of the book is Fish is Fish by Leo Leone. At the edge of the woods, there was a pond, and there a minnow and a tadpole swam among the weeds. They were inseparable friends. One morning, the tadpole discovered that during the night he had grown 2 little legs. "Look," he said triumphantly, "look, I am a frog." "Nonsense," said the minnow. "How could you be a frog if only last night you were a little fish, just like me?" They argued and argued until finally the tadpole said, "Frogs are frogs, and fish is fish, and that's that." In the weeks that followed, the tadpole grew tiny front legs, and his tail got smaller and smaller. And then one fine day, a real frog now, he climbed out of the water and onto the grassy bank. The minnow too had grown and had become a full-fledged fish. He often wondered where his 4-footed friend had gone, but days and weeks went by and the frog did not return. Then one day, with a happy splash that shook the weeds, the frog jumped into the pond. "Where have you been?" asked the fish excitedly. "I have been about the world, hopping here and there," said the frog, "and I have seen extraordinary things." "Like what?" asked the fish. "Birds," said the frog mysteriously. "Birds," and he told the fish about the birds, who had wings and 2 legs and many, many colors. As the frog talked, his friend saw the birds fly through his mind like large feathered fish. "What else?" asked the fish impatiently. "Cows," said the frog. "Cows? They have 4 legs, horns, eat grass, and carry pink bags of milk." "And people," said the frog. "Men, women, children." And he talked and talked until it was dark in the pond. But the picture in the fish's mind was full of lights and colors and marvelous things, and he couldn't sleep. Ah, if he could only jump about like his friend and see that wonderful world. And so the days went by. The frog had gone, and the fish just lay there dreaming about birds in flight, grazing cows, and those strange animals, all dressed up, that his friend called people. One day he finally decided that, come what may, he too must see them. And so with a mighty whack of the tail, he jumped clear out of the water onto the bank. He landed in the dry, warm grass, and there he lay gasping for air, unable to breathe or to move. "Help!" he groaned feebly. Luckily, the frog, who had been hunting butterflies nearby, saw him with all his strength, pushed him back into the pond. Still stunned, the fish floated about for an instant. Then he breathed deeply, letting the clean, cool water run through his gills. Now he felt weightless again, and with an ever so slight motion of the tail, he could move to and fro, up and down as before. The sun rays reached down within the weeds and gently shifted patches of luminous color. This world was surely the most beautiful of all worlds. He smiled at his friend the frog, who sat watching him from a lily leaf. "You were right," he said. "Fish is fish." The end.
Book Buddies is really in need of volunteers, and funds to purchase the books. If you'd like to get involved with us or you'd like to help purchase books, you can contact the fire department and Don Ellis at 745-1878. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Becca Richard, and I'm a 4th grade student at Eli Whitney School. And if you like laughing, I got the book for you. Diary of the Wimpy Kid 3, The Last Straw, is about Greg Heffley and his family. His dad said if he doesn't shape up, he's going to have to go to military school. How will Greg get out of this one? The book was so good, I didn't read it once, twice, but 5 times. The book is by Jeff Kenny. His pictures are really funny. He has 2 other books in this series that have really funny pictures too. You can get the first, second, and third one at your library. So if you're interested, go and get yourself a copy. I hope you try reading this book and have a nice day. Bye-bye now.
My name is Isaiah Harrington, and my book is Don't Say That Word by Alan Katz. My favorite part in the book is when this kid comes home from school and tells his mom all about his day. I recommend this book to a friend because it has a lot of funny pictures.
Hi, my name is Brianna Legier, and I go to Enfield Street School, and I'm in grade 3. The book I chose was Junie B. Jones by Barbara Park. The book is mostly about a girl named Junie B. Jones who finds out she's going to get a new baby brother. I would recommend this book to somebody who isn't in a good mood and would like someone to make them laugh. And my favorite part of the book is when Junie B. Jones thinks her new baby brother is a real live monkey.
Hi, my name is Taimani Nain, in 6th grade at Eli Whitney School. Found by Margaret Peterson Haddix. At Sky Trails, Angela is a new employee being pestered by Monique, her mean boss. A mysterious plane arrives by an unknown name. Titan travels. When she looks again, it says Sky Trails. Bewildered, she boards the plane and gasps. Nothing but babies. No pilot, assistants, nobody. Just tons of babies. 13 years later, Jonah is a 13-year-old boy. Average, until he gets a letter stating that he is one of the missing. This seems weird to Jonah because he was adopted also. Chip, his new best friend, gets a letter stating the same. Chip isn't adopted, or is he? Jonah, Chip, and his sister, Catherine, go on a journey to find the source of these letters, but they find an amazing secret that changes their lives forever.
Welcome to Storytime. My name is Mr. Van Tassel. I'm the principal of Eli Whitney Elementary School here at Enfield. The story that I'm going to be reading to you today is Imagine a Day. It's a story that was written by Sarah Thompson with fantastic illustrations by Robert Gonsalves. Imagine a day when you can dive down through branches or swim up to the sun. Imagine a day when grace and daring are all we need to build a bridge. Imagine a day when your wishes float on a puff of air to summon back the blue. Imagine a day when your house enfolds you like a nest, rocking gently in the autumn wind. Imagine a day when you forget how to fall. Imagine a day when we build a moat, not to keep strangers out, but to welcome them in. Imagine a day when you don't need wings to soar. Imagine a day when autumn is a yellow canopy above you, a burnt orange carpet underneath, a road you have never ridden on before. Imagine a day when everything you build touches the sky. Imagine a day when roots drink up rivers, twigs tangle in clouds, and a tree is a ladder between earth and air. Imagine a day when you build the world around you piece by piece. Imagine a day when the edge of the map is only the beginning of what we can explore. Imagine a day when your sandcastle can withstand even the highest waves. Imagine a day when the peace of a forest and the strength of a mountain become a cathedral for your heart. Imagine a day when a book swings open on silent hinges and a place you've never seen before welcomes you home. Imagine today. One of my favorite things to do is to read, and I've talked to so many of my students over the course of this school year on what you can learn and how many wonderful books there are out there. Personally, I love to read biographies and biographies of our founding fathers and of the colonial period. But one of my favorites is to go and find great picture books with wonderful illustrations and stories to share with my children, of which we love to read to every night. And I would encourage everyone to read to their children or read with their children at least 30 minutes every single day. By doing so, we can help to build their fluency and certainly help to build their interest in reading as well.
We'll close today's show with performances from the 2009 Connecticut Loves to Read Day, which is a celebration of reading sponsored by the Enfield Public Schools and hosted by the library. Thank you again for joining us for First Steps, and remember, it's never too early to help your child take the first steps on the path to reading.
Love in my family.
The fifth grade has been reading about self-expression. We are meeting the great people of art, literature, and music through their stories. One such story tells of a poor African-American boy who grew up in New Orleans in the early years of the 20th century. His name was Louis Armstrong, but the world came to know him simply as Satchmo. How did he come to get such an unusual nickname?
Like most kids, Louis always had a lot of nicknames. Some of his pals called him Dipper. They also called him Gatemouth or Gate. They even called him Satchel Mouth because of his wide, full mouth that looked like an open suitcase or a satchel, as it used to be called.
The nickname Satchel Mouth carried him along until he traveled to England in 1932, where it was shortened to Satchel. The rest is history.
Although the events in Satchmo's Blues might not have really happened, Louis Armstrong was very real in his spirit and character, trumpeted through the story. We loved reading this informational narrative. From it, we learned Louis's determination and drive to play the horn in the pawn shop window. He sacrificed, strived, and succeeded in owning and playing that handsome trumpet, and everyone who heard his music loved it too. A trumpet. Louis has a trumpet. A bright one that's yellow. A loud, proud horn.
He blows it in the evening
When the moon is newly rising. He blows it when it's raining.
In the cold and misty morn, it honks and it whistles.
Louis says he loves it. It's such a handsome trumpet. Louis Armstrong, the man known around the world as Satchmo, was widely recognized as a founding father of jazz. His influence as an artist and cultural icon is universal, unmatched, and very much alive today.
Through the years, Louis entertained millions, from heads of state and royalty to the kids on his stoop in Corona. Despite his fame, he remained a humble man who lived a simple life in a working-class neighborhood. To this day, everyone loves Louis Armstrong. Just the mention of his name makes people smile.
Stowe loves Satchmo.
Take a look in a book, take a look in a book. What you're gonna find will get you hooked. Read a little more about your team, about the score. Just open up a book, take a look, take a look. Take a look in a book, take a look in a book. No matter what your age, turn a page, turn a page. You can open any door when you read a little more. Just open up a book, take a look, take a look. Take a look in a book, take a look in a book. What you're gonna find will open up your mind, from Shakespeare's lines to Mother Goose rhymes. When you learn to read, you set yourself free. Just open up a book. Yeah!